Hello everyone, welcome to the IAS Mentor Modern Indian History series. We are continuing the advent of Europeans. So far we have understood what are the major reasons behind why Europeans wanted to come to India. We also have understood the first Europeans who came and established in Indian subcontinent, Portuguese people. We have dealt in detail. Remember the facts associated with them. Both mains as well as prelims, both questions are going to be covered. One small announcement for you. We are coming up with multiple programs, starting with mentorship program. You will be given targets daily. Tests also will be conducted. Daily tests, weekly tests will be there. Before finishing, before your prelims examination, current affairs also will be covered as part of that. Complete details you are going to get soon. Please follow the IAS Mentor. We will have current affairs program also, places in news series also. For further details, please keep following the IAS Mentor channel. Let us see here. Continue the advent of Europeans. There is a prelims question here. Portuguese came. They were the first to come to India. They were the last to leave India. After Portuguese, who were the various European powers who came to India? This is the order. The chronological order is, first one is Portuguese. Portuguese came first or Mughal Empire was established first? Portuguese only came first. Vasco da Gama came first. Babur established Mughal Empire later. After Portuguese, these Portuguese people almost were very strong for 100 years. That means in entire 1500s, they were very strong in 1500s. When 1498 Vasco da Gama came, and in 1510 Goa was captured, 1530 Goa became the capital, and they were continuously controlling the ocean routes in 1500s. But in 1600s, there was intense competition within Europe. Now, Portuguese have shown the path, Spanish people have shown the path. Spanish people and Portuguese people controlled Latin America also, and Portuguese people controlled the eastern part of the world. That is why both Spain and Portugal inspired other people also, and it also invoked envy in the minds of other Europeans. They also wanted to flourish like Spanish people and Portuguese people were enjoying. That is why by 1600s, whatever knowledge, the navigation skills, the technological advancement what Portuguese people and Spanish people were enjoying, that knowledge is spread to other parts of Europe also. Now they are ready to compete with Portuguese. The next in the line, Dutch people. Before English, Dutch came. Then English. Then Danish. Last one, French people. Remember, this is the order. Dutch means Netherland. Netherland, also called Holland. Sometimes confusion may arise between Dutch and Danish. Danish means country Denmark. Remember this, different terms with all starting with D. It may confuse you. Dutch, Danish, Danish means Denmark country. Dutch means Netherlands or Holland. If we understand this, these are various settlements. Over a period of time, various settlements across the coastline were established. If we see the map, now not only Portuguese people, not only Spanish people, the other Europeans also started building their colonies across the globe. In that process, they established their colonies in India also. You see this? One common feature among them, Spanish people, Portugal people, they established their colonies in this land. Portugal also, Brazil they got. Portuguese controlled this side. French people you see, they also share the coastline. Spanish, Portugal people also share the coastline, Atlantic Ocean. English people also are there in this Atlantic Ocean. This is what Denmark. Denmark means Danish. Netherlands, at this point of time, now you are not even able to see this unless I zoom it. To say this, this is what Netherlands. Identify what is the common theme. Denmark, coastline. Netherlands, coast. France, coast. Spanish, coast. Portugal, coast. English, coast. Now, could you connect how geography is important? Because these people are connected with the ocean, now they have to invest in navy. If you compare with the interior powers, they are going to get edge over naval power. That is why these are the countries which are going to establish colonies in different parts of the world. Internally, so many kingdoms were there, different kind of equation was going on, and they were fighting with this side, Ottoman Empire. Remember this. What is the chronological order? Portugal, then Dutch, then English, third one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and fifth one. This is the order. Remember, very important prelims question. We have understood Portuguese, 100 years they enjoyed. Now, with respect to Dutch, Danish, we do not have much political or much history with respect to Indian history. Most importantly, English and French people, they tried to involve in the politics. With respect to Danish people and Dutch people, they did not show much interest in the politics of India. Dutch people showed interest in commercial activities, whereas Danish people showed much interest in missionary activities. But the real political system controlled or influenced by English presence, French presence. Already Portuguese were already established their empire. Now let us see Dutch. What are their establishments? In which year they came and what are their settlements? Now with respect to Dutch, there is continuous enmity there also. Obviously, when you are chasing for the same resources, you are going to fight with the existing power. Now, Dutch people have to fight with the existing people. Their main arch rivals were Spanish people, and Spanish people and Portugal people, initially competitors, later they became jointly, they compromised and they have agreement to support each other. That means both Spanish and Portugal people became single entity. Whoever try to come up later, they are trying to stop them. That's why Dutch people are going to fight with the Spanish people and the Portuguese. In the eastern part of the world, they have to fight with the Portuguese, and they fought. In Indian subcontinent, they fought, and they have even captured some of the Portuguese territories also. The first settlement of the Dutch, let me draw this. We need to have the contemporary developments also. By the time Dutch people came to India in 1600s, the politics in Delhi now different. Babur established Mughal Empire in 1526. Portuguese people came before Babur. That's why we have dealt Portuguese separately. Babur. Next, Humayun. He was not able to rule. Meanwhile, Sher Shah Suri was ruling. From 1530 to 1540. Then after that, Sher Shah Suri ruled. And once again, Humayun captured after the death of Sher Shah Suri. He was there. Very short, brief period, that is 55. But in between, Sher Shah Suri was also there. Next, the real power of Mughals started with Akbar. What is the time period? 1556 to 1605. Remember this. Dutch are going to come in this year only. So that means their main relationship is after that. Jahangir. 1605 or 1606 to 1627. Jahangir. During this time period, Dutch people established their colonies. After that, Shah Jahan. Prelims questions will come even this way also, contemporaries. Now you see, when Portuguese people came, who are there? When Dutch people came, who are there? When English people came, who are there? Because this is the relationship. If you don't know who are ruling, then how can you understand what is the relationship between them? Shah Jahan, 1628 to 1658, that was going on. Next, Aurangzeb, 1658 to 1707. These are called Great Mughals. And after Aurangzeb, so many weak successors came. That was the opportunity for the Europeans, and they conquered India. This was the period the real European settlements, one after the other, started. Up to here, Portuguese control, and thereafter other competitors came. So number one, what is the chronological order? Remember it. Second one, who were ruling in different points of time when European settlements were taking place? That is the second element. The Mughal Empire is continuously expanding here. Mughal Empire continuously expanding. They expanded Gujarat, Bengal, Northwest. So continuously they were expanding. Akbar himself conquered up to here. Once Jahangir comes, some more territory. During Shah Jahan time period, some more territory was added. And when it comes to Aurangzeb time period, almost entire Indian subcontinent came under them. Except this northeast, a home kingdom was there. Then most of the country came under single authority. When Mughals were expanding continuously, this is the circumstance in which different settlements were going on in different parts of coastline. All right. So this is very important to understand. Now the same story will be applied for English people also, Danish people also, French people also. Dutch. The first settlement was established in 1605. This was the settlement in Masulipatam. Masulipatam or Machilipatnam in present day Andhra. They established settlements like Nagapattinam, then Pulicat, next one here Chinsura in Bengal region. They have even established their settlements interiors also. Now, with respect to the commercial activities, what are the important items they were trading? At this point of time, when Mughal Empire was becoming stronger and stronger, the Mughal Empire economic activities are also flourishing. Economy of Mughal Empire flourished. That is why Mughal Empire became one of the richest empires in the world itself. The places like UP were producing crops like indigo. When it comes to here, this area, cotton, textile, spices, silk, and here again silk, textiles like calicos, muslin, cotton related, saltpeter, which is very useful for gunpowder. Next, opium. Identify these items of trade also. Opium, indigo, cotton textiles, silk textiles, spices, and semi-precious stones, and so many others also there. But these are the important items of trade. They were taking these items to Europe and they are bringing European products to India, and that is how trade was happening. But already who are here? Already this area, Portuguese. So there is going to be continuous conflict with them. In fact, they fought with them. They displaced some of their settlements like Nagapattinam also taken, and finally they established their authority in this. But their main focus was spices. More than India, they got these spices in this place, present day Indonesia. That is why it became a Dutch colony. So Dutch people controlled this, whereas they used these Indian settlements just to transport spices there, and from there they were exporting. Could you see this? These are the some of the settlements of Dutch. While they were establishing their settlements, they established different settlements in West Coast also, like Surat, Cochin. They established in the East Coast also they established, and they used these settlements or factories to transport their products. Portuguese they had to fight, and new entry English. They fought with English, they fought with the Portuguese, but Portuguese were declining power. They displaced Portuguese, but when it comes to English, they are rising power. Intense struggle was going on between English and Dutch. By 1660s, both compromised that we should not fight like this. You focus on Dutch, you focus on Indonesia. I will not come here. I will focus on India. You don't interfere in him here. But commercial activities will go on. But politically, I will try to handle this area. You control this area so that let us not fight with each other. In that manner, English dominated Indian subcontinent. Dutch people dominated Indonesia. Like India got independence from English, Indonesian people got Dutch independence from Dutch only. Is it clear? This is how they established various settlements. Suppose if I show you this map, could you see various settlements? Chinsura. They had established even interiors also like Kasim Bazar, Patna, inside also. Then Balasur region. When it comes to Odisha region also, Pulicat, then Nagapattinam, Cochin also, and here Surat also. In multiple places they established. All right, but the main focus of Dutch people was spice trade. In Indonesia, they got sufficient spices. They want to control Indonesia completely. Why unnecessarily fighting with English and other people if they are completely controlling Indonesia? That is why a compromise was made between English and Dutch people, that English is going to focus on India, whereas Dutch people will focus on Indonesia. That is how a matter was settled. But frequently, sometimes they used to conflict also, but more or less the matter is settled. Now, come to the English people. So, when it comes to the first settlement of Dutch, 1605, Machilipatnam. Remember this. Now, English. These are the people who gradually established their political authority in India. Remember this. Now we have to see different political developments on one hand and English presence on the other hand. In 1600, East India Company was established. Queen Elizabeth, at that time, England was under Queen Elizabeth. She gave a charter. Initially for 15 years it was given. Later for lifetime, gradually they tried to get the charter. They established this. The name also you can see East India Company. That means to trade with the eastern side. The name is very big one, but short, East India Company. Monopoly. Monopoly means only this company is having the eligibility to trade with the eastern side. If there is any kind of another company, they are going to destroy it, and in fact government also will not give permission. If they do, that is illegal. That is how East India Company was managing royal family also, and they were getting continuous permissions. This is 1600. Their rivals now in 1600 means Dutch, Portuguese people. Now they sent different ambassadors. Who are there? In 1600, Akbar died in 1605. Jahangir came. Remember, this is also important prelims question. To who are the people from England came to Jahangir court? 1605 to 1627. Already Portuguese were there. In 1605 onwards, Dutch people are also there. These are the context. Then only you can understand English presence. Now, when East India Company wanted permission to establish their factories, they have to take the permissions. Otherwise, it is suppose if you want to start a company in China, can you go and directly start a company in China? You have to take the permission. Can someone come to India and start a company in Chennai? No, they have to take the permission from the government of India. Now, at this point of time, the administrator of Mughal Empire is Jahangir, emperor, very powerful emperor of this time period. They sent some ambassadors to the court of Jahangir, but the Portuguese people, through diplomacy, they told that we will not allow the English people. If English people come, continuous conflicts will take place. That is why it is better not to give permissions to them. Through the diplomacy, they did not make the English attempt successful. This is how the diplomacy goes. Like for example, in the present day context, if China wants a port in Pakistan, if America also wants a port in Pakistan, now China and USA, they are competitors, but they both needed Pakistan support, and if they want to establish a port here, the diplomacy between Chinese and Pakistan government, diplomacy between USA and Pakistan government will go on. In the present day context, exactly you can understand this. Why India is so much concerned about our neighborhood means foreigners will try to influence first our neighbors, then they will come to India. That is why, that is the reason, if something happens in our neighborhood, we should not keep silent as if it is not our country. Because initially, that is how the diplomacy and later military conquest used to take place. That's what happened throughout the past. Again, if we don't learn lessons from them, then it is a waste of again reading history. The purpose of reading history is to learn lesson and not to repeat the same mistakes. These are like USA and China. Exactly, that's what happening now. USA and China, like these are the two powerful countries at this point of time. In those times, Portuguese, English, Dutch, these were the powerful countries at that point of time. They tried to not to give the permissions through diplomacy. But Jahangir was also not very happy with the Portuguese, because in 1500s, both Portuguese and Mughals continuously fought. They used to capture the Mughal ships also. They used to do some piracy activities, robberies they used to do. and the slave trade also they were doing. That is why there were continuous conflicts between Mughals as well as Portuguese also. That is why Jahangir is also trying to get some kind of solution, but the real power of the Portuguese is navy. Now English people decided to show the power of English, and in a battle English people defeated Portuguese. Anyway, Portuguese people were focusing on Brazil side, and this side gradually after 100 years the corruption within the the Portuguese administration led to their downfall. English people defeated Portuguese. The moment English defeated Portuguese, now it gave a relief for Jahangir also that yes, there is a new power who can counter Portuguese presence and Portuguese dominance in Indian subcontinent. This is how Jahangir started giving permissions to East India Company. He gave permission to establish a factory in Surat in 1613. So this is considered as the first factory of English in India. Now could you see how the diplomacy is going? If you don't know who are there, if you don't know what are the kingdoms, then you cannot understand the story. If I simply tell Jahangir court, someone entered, English people, but due to diplomatic efforts of Portuguese, Jahangir could not give permission to English. If I don't show you the map, if I don't show you in which location, which empire was there, you cannot understand it. I hope it is very clear for you what is the relationship between English and Portuguese also. All right. Now, this is the similar manner we have to understand who are the people here. Captain Hawkins. Captain Hawkins. He was the one who tried to get a factory, but he was not able to become successful because of Portuguese diplomacy. Next, this battle took place under the leadership of Captain Thomas Best. He was the navy commander. Under his leadership, English people defeated Portuguese. Now they got permission to establish in Surat 1613. Later, directly now after seeing this, English East India Company got success. Now the king, by this time, Queen Elizabeth died. New king came there, King James I. East India Company requested James I. It's not that as a company, if we go to the Mughal emperor, he is not responding properly. You directly talk. Now you are monarch and you are monarch, he may respond. Direct diplomat from James I only came. His name is Thomas Roe. Thomas Roe. You just understand in this present day example. America is there. Consider example Google. Google comes to India, wants to establish their one company. They want premise. If Google go and ask Prime Minister, if there is some kind of internal security problem, security threat for us, we will not give the permission. Google will go to US President and ask that I directly tried, I could not become successful. Through you, you try. Directly US President will send one ambassador to Prime Minister of India and request it. Now, based on our national interest, it is not company, it is the country. Based on our national interest, we will try to take the call. Same manner, James I sent one ambassador, Thomas Roe. Throughout the past, like this, so many ambassadors used to come to India. Consider Mauryan Empire. In Mauryan Empire also, Greek ambassador was there, Megasthenes. Like that, you have to remember with respect to examination. James I, Thomas Roe. Remember how many people? Captain Hawkins, Thomas Roe, Thomas Best. So this is how one after the other, they were trying through diplomacy, through military tactics, they continuously expanded their power one after the other. When it comes to Jahangir this side, Jahangir did not rule entire India. By Aurangzeb time period, almost entire India came under Mughals. Here, who were there? Bahmani kingdom disintegrated. Even Vijayanagara kingdom also disintegrated by this time period. This Vijayanagara Empire disintegrated into small kingdoms. Bahmani kingdom disintegrated into 5 different kingdoms. One powerful kingdom was like Bijapur, another one is Golconda. Bijapur. Whereas Vijayanagar Empire disintegrated. In 1500s it was very powerful, but now Vijayanagar Empire became small kingdoms, disintegrated. You have to have this idea also, otherwise from which kingdom they got permissions you cannot understand. Golconda, Bijapur, Vijayanagar Empire. Now they go to different regional kingdoms and they will try to get the permission. In that manner, they got permission from Golconda also. They got permissions from one of the small kingdoms which comes from Vijayanagara Empire. They got one permission. Through force, they have taken some settlements from Portuguese. Again, through diplomacy also, they have taken some settlements from Portuguese. And through diplomacy, with Mughal emperors also, they took certain settlements. By 1700, these are the settlements. This is very important. Remember this. By 1700s, various settlements. Here, already Surat, then Machilipatnam or Masulipatam, Madras, then Kolkata, then Bombay this side. Identify from whom they got permissions one after the other. Surat, Mughals. Calcutta, Mughals. In 1690s. This is in 1613. In 1616, Machilipatnam, Golconda. They also got special permissions in 1632 from Golconda to trade freely for very minimum amount of money. They were able to trade in Golconda kingdom. Madras, remnant of Vijayanagara. Chandragiri. After the decline of Hampi, Vijayanagara kingdom was continuously trying to establish their authority from Chandragiri. They tried and they got permission for Madras in 1630s. Now in 1660s, Portuguese and English don't want to fight, and there in England itself, diplomatic effort started that through matrimonial relationship between Portuguese royal family and English royal family, peace agreement was signed, or simply they tried to maintain peaceful relationship between Portuguese and English. Now when the kingdoms themselves are not fighting, here East India Company need not to fight with the Portuguese. Anyway, Portuguese people are almost, they are declining power. Bombay was Portuguese settlement. When royal family matrimonial relationship was happening, Portuguese people gave Bombay to the king of England, and king will not come and rule here. King gave to East India Company only. You only take care of this. Those events have taken place in 1660s. Now you see, 1613, 1660s, 1630s, 1630s, 1690s. So by 1690s, East India Company established from in the west coast also, in east coast also. Various settlements in Balasore. By 1660s, like they have maintained good relations with the Portuguese, they compromised with Dutch people also. Let us not fight here. You Dutch focus in Indonesia, I will focus here. In this manner, by 1690s or by 1700s, they established different settlements across the coastline. They were having influencing even interiors also. Now, what are the commodities? Indigo, saltpeter, opium, silk, cotton, textiles, spices. Remember this. These are the important products. They were taking these products and selling in European market. They were earning a lot. East India Company was so powerful. It even started influencing the British politics. British politics. Remember this. You can imagine. It's like same thing. Google became so powerful. Google itself started influencing American politics. Tesla became so powerful. Tesla started influencing American politics. Remember, in the same way, in the present day modern MNCs, that is why East India Company, the moment it captured India as a political power, East India Company adventure became the first example how MNC can become powerful. This is the first example in our human history that how one MNC can become a political power if they continuously participate in political situation. This is the first example. This became so powerful, it influenced British politics also. Later, it controlled Indian subcontinent itself. So this is why the people who are working under East India Company, they are becoming so rich. And one of the company officers produced two prime ministers also. Two prime ministers in his family. That shows how powerful the East India Company, how rich the East India Company officials are becoming. What is the reason? This is the land of gold. By 1700, 25% of the world trade, 25% of the world trade is going from this land. Now, in this, East India Company was benefiting out of this. Could you see why India was so strong at that particular point of time? Why Europeans were continuously risking their lives to come to India and to do business? That is why by 1700s, already India is very rich. By that time, considerably they maintained their hold also. As a result of it, East India Company became so powerful and they were able to even influence the British politics, and even the company officers even produced prime ministers also to England. That shows how powerful the trade with India. All right. This is how with respect to East India Company starting and how they gradually established their settlements here. Remember, you have to continuously remember what is going on in Mughal Empire, what is going on in Deccan politics also. Like during Portuguese time period, Vijayanagara people were very powerful. Sri Krishna Devaraya. That is why in Vijayanagara Empire, we know many details about Vijayanagara Empire from the Portuguese travelers only. Even if you don't remember anything, at least if you know who are the contemporaries, then if question comes dynamically also, still with analysis you will be able to answer this question. By the time English people came, Vijayanagara Empire declined, but when Portuguese came, Vijayanagara people were strong. So that is why parallelly, what is happening in India, what is happening in Europe, you have to know. This is with respect to East India Company. Next one. By 1700 they got this. In 1717, when Aurangzeb died in 1707, continuous power struggle was happening in Delhi. In 1707, there was one ruler called Farooq Sir, Mughal emperor. After Aurangzeb, so many rulers came and they were dying. Someone killed them. Farooq Sir was there in 1717. He gave a farman. He gave so many concessions to East India Company. As a result, their strength became more and more. So by 1717, they got so many concessions. like they can trade freely from here to here. They can issue even dastaks also passes so that nobody can ask the duties. Their coins or whatever they minted coins, the East India Company coins which were minted in Bombay, they are allowed accessible everywhere across India. In this way, they got so many concessions. So by 1750, they are very, very powerful entity in Indian subcontinent. All right, next one. After English, Danish. But with respect to Danish, they were not that much concentrating in commercial activities. Their main focus was missionary activities. In Calcutta, there is a place called Sirampur. Sirampur, near Calcutta. In this place, they had many Christian missionaries. They were working in that front. Whatever small settlements that were there for commercial purpose, they were sold in 1800s. 1800s, they were given to English people. So simply, when English people became masters of India, Danish people were happy to work under English. Their main focus is not business, but Christian missionaries. But they established their factory near Tanjore in the year 1620. Place is Tranquilbar near Tanjore. They established. But the presence is very, very minimal. Their main focus is Christian missionary activities. Their main concentration goes to Sirampur area in Calcutta. Gradually in 1800s, they sold their commercial entities also to East India Company, and they were focusing on commercial Christian missionary activities. That is what with respect to Danish. Last people who came to India and who made considerable presence in political spectrum, those were French people. French. When it comes to France, it was late in the arrival of these commercial entities. In 1660s, French East India Company was established. In 1664, it was established. In 1670s, they established factories like Pondicherry. Gradually, they established places like Annam, Karaikal, Mahi, Hooghly, Calcutta region. They established. This is by 1670s. By 1720s, their presence is with respect to commercial activities limited only in comparison with English. By 1740s, this is where very unique feature about French. They are not now concentrating on commercial activities. By 1740s, they started seeing opportunity in political front. Political front. Traditionally, French people and English people were rivals. They are continuously fighting for many centuries in Europe. Starting from thousands, they were continuously fighting. 500, 600 years onwards, they were continuously fighting there in Europe. Because they are close to neighbors, they want to conquer each other. That is why they were continuously rivalry going on. Whenever they start fighting there, they will fight here also. They want to display, here East India Company is there, here French company. Whenever hostilities broke in Europe, it will reflect here also. But French people have identified some kind of unique development in this region. When Hyderabad became independent from the Mughal authority by 1740s, Carnatic region was acting independently from Hyderabad or from Mughal Empire. French people identified there is some kind of opportunity in Hyderabad politics and Carnatic politics. When there is a succession struggle, always this succession struggle is very common. If a ruler dies and who is going to become the next ruler, it becomes very difficult to identify who is the next ruler. Continuously, people used to fight. The contenders, whoever competitors for the throne, they used to fight. They used to kill each other. This is the atmosphere in 1740s. By 1740s, Mughal Empire itself is almost collapsing. After Aurangzeb, same succession struggle in Delhi. Ministers continuously taken the advantage, and these ministers only carved out independent principalities across India. That is why Bengal Kingdom, Awadh Kingdom, Hyderabad Kingdom, different kingdoms emerged. Marathas were trying to capture Mughal Empire, and they were continuously creating pressure on Mughal Empire. Persian Emperor also invaded. Afghanistan Emperor also invading. This is how the atmosphere happening in 1740s. Nadir Shah, French Emperor, Persian Emperor, Persian King, he directly reached Delhi, he looted Delhi in 1730s. When Delhi itself is under such kind of condition, now who will take care of these kingdoms in down? That is where French people have seen advantage. They started interfering in the power struggle within Hyderabad and Carnatic region. Their rival is East India Company. Now, by influencing Indian local politics, they want to defeat English people. Now, English East India Company has seen it is a threat to them. That is why they also started involving in the politics. In this way, powerful battles took place between English people and French people. In our history, they are known as Carnatic Wars. Carnatic is a region in the coast of Tamil Nadu. That region has witnessed wars between British versus French. They are known as Carnatic Wars. Now, this is where the political experiment is going on now. French people have shown the path to British. They have shown the path. They are the pioneers. That it is not that in business we have real power. It is in the politics of India we have the power. If we win over these regional kingdoms, now whatever we want, we can get it. That is where French people started interfering in the Indian politics. Initially, they became successful also, but English people have witnessed, sensed some kind of danger. They also interfered. That is why French and English, British used to fight along with the Indian kings also. So, Indian kings, French, British, all are going to fight for the power. Finally, whoever going to become very strong in terms of technology, in terms of diplomacy, in terms of military tactic on the ground, they are going to win this. Finally, British become successful. That is the second, that is our next chapter. What is our next chapter? The British conquest of India. So starting with the Carnatic Wars, then Bengal conquest, Mysore conquest, Maratha conquest, everything one after the other, they are going to win continuous wars and battles. So with this, we are ending the chapter number 1, that is the advent of Europeans. So what is the chronological order? I will give you the questions now. Answer this in the comment box. Number 1. Number 1. Who gave the British? Who gave the British permission to establish a factory in Surat in 1613? Which Mughal ruler? Second one, Madras was given to East India Company by which kingdom, or the kingdom which formed from which main kingdom? Third one, East India Company got Bombay from which European power? Fourth one, Carnatic Wars were fought between which European powers? 4 questions. Try to answer them in the comment box. Alright. This is what the first chapter, Advent of Europeans. And one more question also you can write. That question is the sequence of, fifth one, sequence of, or arrange the chronological order of European companies or European powers who came to India. What is the chronological order? All right. These are the questions. Please answer them in the comment box. We will continue the second chapter in the next class. All right. Thank you.